Okay guys, I want to make this short video on the Glacial Berserker Buffs and talk about is the class good or not? Does my verdict on the class overall change? So let's get into the buffs themselves quickly. First off, auto attack unchanged. Fist of Frost has a change. It now does damage. It's not a significant amount of damage, it's only about 700 damage on a crit, but it is damage, and damage boost is always good. They did take off the damage aspect of Calm Before the Storm, so while it's not straight up 700 extra damage every 8 seconds, because they did reduce the damage that this class was doing slightly because of taking away the damage from Calm Before the Storm, it is overall a damage boost and is a good thing to see. Shadow of the Ancients, no change. Glacial Storm, no change. What changed? Calm Before the Storm changed. Calm Before the Storm had changes, although they are not quite impactful enough to change my verdict on it at the end of the day. What changed? Took the cooldown from 25 to 22 seconds, made it so it no longer does damage. It instead applies a flat heal over time to you that is not reliant on how much damage it is doing, and made it so the ability cannot miss. These are good changes. However, they did not take the cooldown reduction far enough. The issue is that this class has a 10-second downtime between the time that you cast it, the heal happens, and after the heal over time stops, between you can cast the next one. That 10-second gap is the issue here. That's why you die. If this heal was better, if it healed for more, this heal only heals for 1047 when you're running full luck. That's not a lot, especially on a 22-second cooldown for 35 mana. That is very, very, very low healing. And when the ability has no other upsides on its own, that is unacceptable still. This heal, this is why the class isn't good. Classes that do low damage are not an issue. People use Oracle. Oracle doesn't do a lot of damage, but people use it because it is incredibly, incredibly hard to kill. And that is the issue with this class. It does damage. It can do really good amounts of damage, but it dies to any boss that can hit for more than 110 damage every 2 seconds. Literally, any boss that can do more than 1200 damage over 20 seconds and kill you, no matter what you do. Maybe you get lucky with some dodges or some misses in there, and that's your out, but what about the next 20 seconds? What about the 20 seconds after that? You will die to any boss that can do more than 1200 damage over 20 seconds. And that's a lot of bosses. That's not a lot of damage to ask for, especially when you're considering fighting something like Blood Titan or Ultra Blood Titan that's hitting for 300 every 2 seconds. That's a massive amount of damage, and this class just cannot keep up. It can't, because you're only healing for abysmal 1000 damage over 22 seconds. When you compare that to other healers, to other heals, Arch Paladin, its heal crits for over 7,000. Massive, massive heal, and this is multi-target with an endurance and defense buff on a much lower cooldown and only 5 extra mana. Healer's Heal, being a starter class, free for everybody, heals 3 targets with a same-sized heal with an extra heal over time to it on a much lower cooldown and for less mana. Paladin's Heal. Paladin's Heal heals for much more, easily full healing you, and once again hitting you and up to 3 targets. And while it doesn't have any extra effect, it is on a significantly lower cooldown on 10 less mana. Stonecrusher's Heal. Stonecrusher's Heal is a small heal. It's a small heal over time. However, the cooldown on it is so low that when comboed with the haste buffs from Stonecrusher, you can keep up the heal over time and damage reduction buff that this ability has permanently throughout the entire fight, meaning that you are never in a downtime between heals where you are at risk of dying. This is the issue with the class. Its heal sucks, and at the end of the day, the heal will always suck unless they buff it again. And this class, for me, still fails the mark in almost every area as long as this ability is bad. Can't farm because it has no multi-target damage and no way to spread damage. It has no dots, it has nothing like that. It can maybe possibly PvP in its current state. It does have a reasonable buffs to itself. It can do better damage now. It does more consistent damage now. Although I think with that crappy heal, it's still going to struggle because in PvP, the reason that Arch Paladin is so powerful is that it can get down to such low health, pop seal to protect itself, heal itself back up to absolute full health even when it's down in the hundreds of health, and then nuke your opponent down with Sacred Magic Eden. This doesn't have access to that kind of thing. This class has some buffs, has some damage reductions, does reasonable damage, but if it ever takes damage, if you ever start the fight losing, if your opponent gets a good crit in the beginning of the fight, you just lose, because you cannot heal through that. You cannot survive through anything that's doing more than a few hundred damage. And that's the problem. For soloing, the point still stands as I said earlier. You cannot fight against anything that's doing more than 110 damage every 2 seconds. Any more than that and you die. Nothing you can do about it. And that's a large amount of the bosses in the game. A lot of the older bosses from the older content, yes, you can deal with those. But anything that's come out in the last 2 years is for the most part going to be able to kill you. And that's the issue. But, with all that out of the way, I want to thank you guys for coming. Hope you enjoyed the video. As always, hope you have a great day. I'll see you next.
Thank you for watching today's video. If you guys liked the video, disliked the video, feel like leaving a comment, please leave that all below. If you guys enjoy this content and want to see anything else from me, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel to get updates on anything else that I do, whether it be streams, videos, or otherwise. And with that being said, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.